we can get this stream key through Opus Clip going on. But we haven't gotten there yet. So we're going to try to figure that part out. As soon as we get that information, we're going to let you guys know. So as for today's topic, you trying to get into the show today, buddy? Fluffy stuff. So what if I told you guys, or what if I told you guys that, most jobs are filled before they even get posted online? You would not believe me. You guys hear stats all the time, and they vary, but the core idea is going to be shockingly consistent. A huge chunk of jobs, maybe about 54% of them, maybe a little more, are filled through some kind of connection. And they never show up on a public job board. And they're not on a company's career page. And they're filled through internal referrals and quiet outreach before 99% of the world even knows that that job even exists. Trader says, I just read the politicians in California are going to come up with a new tax on a sale of a house. $60,000 extra. Well, I ain't buying shit in California. They're going to put $60,000 extra of taxes. Well, hold on. That don't hurt me if I'm buying a house. That only hurts me if I'm selling a house. So if they're charging $60,000 extra on the sale of a house, then when I buy that motherfucker, I'm keeping it. That's all. Because typically, most states don't require the buyer to pay sales tax. The buyer has to pay property tax. Now, if they're putting down an extra $60,000 on property tax, you lost them. But if they're charging sales tax, they're just taking more profits out of the seller, which is going to discourage a lot of the real estate investment companies from flipping houses on a regular basis. I encourage you guys, and so does Michael, encourage you guys to do buy and holds. You buy the property, you hold it, you rent it out. You leverage it for capital to go and buy another one. If I can buy up all of America, I would. And then rent it out to everybody. Be a multi-billionaire, right? Easiest way to go. Matter of fact, I would do some, low down dirty shame stuff and rent them out, charge them interest on late rent, and never put them out. Just keep sending them demand letters for money. They'd be 4 months behind on rent because they were furloughed for the government. That's okay. You're going to pay back pay. Your rent is now X, Y, and Z dollars per month, which is your current standard plus your late payments. Then they always have a place to stay and I always got money. Almost like your electric company. They'll charge you that interest for not paying it on time, but they never really turn off your power. Well, they do, but you really got to not pay them nothing and never call them, right? So, as long as I know you don't plan on boot scooting on out of there, you can be late a few times, make me some extra money, because I get the late fee and then the interest on last month's balance added to next month's rent. I'm okay with that. You're okay with that. As long as you sign a contract and there are no laws in your city or state that prevent you from doing that, I'd roll it. I'd roll over the debt. I'd roll over the debt like a damn credit card. Make more money off of late payments and keep the tenant. Because look, if rent go up 4% every year and I keep y'all at like fixed rent every year, but you have to pay that late fee plus the percentage of interest of the remaining balance, the overdue balance every month. If your rent go up $200 a month because that's how much you owe from late fees and interest, your rent go up $200 a month. But when you start paying in advance, your rent will go down. Either way, I make money because they're never going anywhere because the neighbor's house is higher than theirs. So, it's like, damn, he charging us all this interest because we don't pay on time, but shit, we still paying less than the people next door. So, got to be strategic about this stuff. That they pass a law to say that you're going to lose more money to get rid of it than what you would to keep it. It's like opportunity cost, right? So, as it pertains to a lot of these jobs that are being recruited from within, this is going to mean that professionals are locked in a brutal competition for the small slice of jobs that are publicly advertised. It's going to be a digital thunderdome where hundreds, sometimes thousands of people are firing resumes into a black hole, just praying that an algorithm or an overworked HR manager will give them a 6-second glance. Yeah, a lot of people used to be like this, and I can tell you, I remember one time when I was sitting on a laptop, screen blowing in the middle of the night, tweaking my resume for the 100th time, had an alert for every job on the board, and wrote customer uh, 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 service letters and really customized the stuff to try to tweak this stuff. Did everything right, and the results, crickets. And everybody's experienced that at one time. Automated rejections, or worse, getting ghosted after an interview or two. When they decide they're not going to hire you, they don't tell you that. You just got to keep calling back, checking up on a job every few days, every couple of weeks, until they finally tell you stop calling them. A lot of people are going to feel like that's like shouting into a void. And you're also going to feel like you're playing a game that was rigged against you. And this doesn't even account for the fact that a lot of people don't even know the rules. The stress is going to be crushing, and the self-doubt is going to be real. And your income is going to be totally stagnant in these situations, which is going to put you in a stuck position. He said, you want a job, walk in. Note to self from the old school. Whenever you want a job, you go straight on in the front door, navigate yourself to HR, and then talk to that person. It's going to be a little bit better than shooting an email in the dark. Now, after a while, you guys might discover the hidden job market. Not some secret club for the rich and famous, but as fundamental a way that opportunities actually flow in the real world. So in tonight's show, I'm going to pull back yet another curtain on this system. I'm going to show you step by step how to stop fighting for scraps and start building a real network that doesn't just finish the job, but actually boost your income and opens doors that you never would have seen. And this isn't about collecting LinkedIn connections like Pokemon cards. It's going to be about building powerful strategic systems that work for you, creating a level of career stability and financial growth that you just can't get from online applications. Now, if you follow these steps, you will change your entire path of your career and your financial future. Now, one thing I've noticed, he said, smart people don't wait for jobs, they make it happen. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I found out that really there's a lot more people out here benefiting from this than what you would imagine. Take, for example, and we may get back into this another time. For example, professionals hire through referrals, and those personal connections earn about 7% more at the time they're hired than those coming through standard application roles for the same position. Then take into account that referrals are only about 7% of applications, but they generate 30 to 50% of all hires and receive roughly 72% of the interviews that are given. Then take into account active networkers report powerful outcomes of around 39% and get referrals. 36% are going to get those interviews, and then 32% land job offers. And at 17%, they're securing promotions through networking as well. Long-term studies show that networking behavior is positively related to current salary and to salary growth over time, meaning small networking habits compound into higher lifetime earnings. And then many attractive roles never hit the public job boards, and those are going to be discussed in those internal channels, association circles, and warm networks where the real hidden job market is actually located, right? That's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you about this, because this is a really significant upstep. So the first thing we want to do is we want to pay attention to this resume black hole. And then we're going to be paying attention to the new roles of work. So if we break down this problem, why is the old school job search so broken? And why does sending out your resume feel like buying a lottery ticket? It's going to be because by the time a job is posted publicly, the game is already halfway over. Sometimes the job is already being filled. He's got to become buddy-buddy with the boss. But you got to find the boss first. If you're trying to change jobs, you want to go to the company that you want to work for and become buddy-buddy with that boss. Find out through hanging out and little minute hidden clues if that boss has a job opening. Then if that boss does have a job opening, then you want to start negotiating terms. If that boss does provide you with some pretty good negotiating terms, or if you show that boss that you have valuable skill sets that the boss could benefit from, then you start looking at putting in your 2 weeks on your current job. However, if you were just trying to test the job market just to see what's out there, you could do a little bit of research, talk to a couple of people, see if they would be interested in providing you with a certain quantity of income from certain places, get confirmation from certain employment places that have income charts where they're like, oh yeah, well, we'll pay our people, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to your employer and say, hey, I know 5 companies that I can go to right now and do what I do with you, potentially get X number of dollars. So I'm asking you for a raise or a promotion with a raise where I can make X number of dollars with you instead. Sometimes the best pay raise is getting fired. That is, whoa, so deep. It is the truth to life situation that, in all honesty, there are some situations where leaving his job is a lot better than staying. It is true, because it's going to free up your time to find better instead of being duty bound to an underpaid job. So you want to think about it from the company side of view. So posting a job publicly is their last resort. And this is going to mean that their internal search failed. Their first, second, and third lines of defense didn't pan out. So everybody they thought could have been good for this job doesn't want this job. So what those lines of defense are, that now they're looking for you because nobody wants this job. First thing they're going to do is they're going to look inside the company. Going to be honest with you, it's cheaper, it's faster. They don't have to train the person. The person is a known quantity of the business. And if that doesn't work, then they're going to turn to those referrals. They're going to ask their best employees, who do you know? Your boss has tapped you on the shoulder every now and again and say, hey, if you know anybody that's looking for a job, hit me up, right? Referrals. Most of us don't want to refer our friends because we have ain't shit friends. But if we had higher value friends and one of them was looking for a job, we could say, hey, I got a friend that's looking for a job right now. What do you think? Right? This is going to be the single most important moment in the entire hiring process. A referral isn't just a name. It's a transfer of trust. So when a good employee puts their name on the line for someone, they're staking their own reputation on that person. And this is completely de-risking the whole thing for the hiring manager. The numbers are wild because, like I told you, 6-7% of applicants are going to be referrals. 37% of them are going to be hires. A tiny fraction of the application phase is getting half of the jobs. A very small fraction is getting half of the jobs. So why such a huge advantage? This is going to be because they get to bypass the entire digital slush pile. Their resume didn't go to an application tracking system or ATS that's designed to automatically screen out 75% of candidates with keywords. It lands right in the hiring manager's inbox with a note that says this person is one of us. That's why referred candidates get hired so much faster. On average, in 29 days compared to 55 days for someone who applied through a job board. You're going to get paid. They're going to get hired way quicker. Now, this is not just about getting the job. It's also going to be about getting a better job because people hire through referrals often are going to be earning that higher pay as well. And that's going to be for the same role as somebody else that got scooped up without a referral. And that might not sound like a lot, but if they're getting more money compounded year after year, that's going to be leading to a much higher lifestyle income overall. So on top of that, these hires are happier and stick around longer. Referred employees have a 46% retention rate after 1 year, compared to just 33% of people hired from job boards. It is a win for the company and a huge win for the candidates. So when you see the job on a public board, you are by definition entering the process at the point of maximum competition and minimum leverage. So it's no secret. Since a 2026 poll found that over 80% of professionals already know the networking is critical for success. And the old model of careers where you just apply, interview, and get hired based on your resume alone is going to be a fantasy for most people in today's world. Because I love giving referrals, especially if they are terrible people. Yes, they're always on time, never complain, gets them out of my hair. So you're going to refer all of the ain't shit people to get them away from you. I'm not going to lie. I would do the same thing. If my company had people that I needed to fire, I would likely refer them to my competitor. No shit. I don't want to deal with this bullshit. You take them. And I'd be for real. I'd be like, bro, I'm going to have to let you go. And they're going to be mad. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I will give you a referral. I will give you a positive 5-star referral so that you can get out of my face. Ooh, they're going to be so cold. But check this out, though. The new rules are going to be clear now. Your career speed and your income are not determined by how well you write a resume, but by the strength of your network. This is one of the reasons why people go to college. We go to college to network. We don't go to college to learn stuff. The game isn't about being the best applicant. It's about being the most trusted solution to a problem before it ever becomes a public job posting. So the rest of tonight's show is going to be about teaching you how to become the solution. He was one of my best employees. That's why I'm letting him go. So before we get into the tactics, we have to talk about the giant elephant in the room here, the it factor of networking. For so many of us, the word itself makes us think of schmoozing, being fake and awkwardly trying to talk to a stranger at a stuffy conference just to see what you can get from them. He said, "Hello, Mister. How you doing, Andre?" Now, this is going to make a lot of people feel needy and transactional and just gross. A lot of people avoid it because it feels like asking for a handout. I mean, if your approach is to network and networking is going to feel slimy, then you're obviously doing it wrong. He said, "Hello, Mr. Cool. Hello, Mr. Brown." Uh, but take what happened today. I had a situation where I was taking a dog out for a walk. I walked past a guy. He was out there with a crowbar trying to jack up his uh, um car. And I was, looking and I was like, oh man, that sucks. If only he had a four way. Then I thought to myself, oh, I can get him a four way. And I talked to him and I was like, hey, what's the matter with your car? He's like, the I need a different size. And then I looked at him and I was like, I can fix that problem. And he was about to give me the size of the lug nuts that he's got. And I'm like, yeah, but what about a four way? He's like, you know what? That'll solve the whole problem. So I brought him a four way jack jack stand, and I'm like, hey, use this. Stick it under your car. Do what you got to do. Bring it back. He's like, yeah, but I'm going down to the university, and it's gonna take like an hour. And I'm like, so 30, 45 minutes, gone, an hour back. I tell you what, my car's around the corner. Bring it to the house when you're done. We did not exchange phone numbers. I left it with him. I left my trunk sitting open at the house. Took my dog for a walk. Came back to the house. Went inside. He came back with his tire fixed. Put the stuff in my trunk. Closed my trunk. Everything's done. Right? So as soon as I gave you an opportunity to come in and be appropriate, my guy comes in and like, and Michael, you were supposed to hit the button. You're reading these comments, and you're like, man, this man is being ridiculous, and you didn't do nothing. So back to it. The single biggest mindset shift that you have to make when you're networking with individuals is going to be from being a taker to being a giver. Okay. And the reason why I used my example earlier today is because if I was interested in this person and I wanted to benefit from this person, me seeing that he needed help with his tire and me offering assistance with his tire allowed me to be able to network with him. If I would have been waiting on him to return a jack, we probably could have exchanged numbers and we could have taken it further than that. I determined that he didn't have value in what I was trying to accomplish in my life at this moment. So I did not try to lock in future contacts. I simply just aided him with his vehicle. But that networking scenario could potentially in the future put me in a situation where he recognizes me while I'm trying to accomplish something, and then he will vouch for me by arbitrarily admitting the fact that I came out of nowhere and helped him out when he needed help. So if I'm presenting myself as a useful person, he would then be able to verify and co-sign on that you can count on me even when you didn't know I was there. So you guys have to stop thinking, what can this person do for me? Which is what I was looking at him. It's like, he can't do anything for me at this moment because I don't really want to accomplish anything right now. But if you were trying to network, you want to start obsessively thinking, what can I do for the other person? How can I be helpful for the other person? How can I provide value with zero immediate expectations of getting something back from the other person? And I'm going to say this on the side note, ladies, if you had this mentality towards men, you would find better relationships. But as far as networking, you will find yourself with a different approach in your communication. Instead of being perceived as needy, you would be being perceived as helpful. And it's just not about being a very nice person. It's the smartest strategic move that you can make. Because when you approach people with a genuine curiosity and generosity, the entire dynamic is going to change. You're no longer a job seeker asking for a favor. You're a peer, a contributor, a valuable resource. People are naturally drawn to these types of individuals who are helpful and generous with their time and their insight, especially individuals that are generous with their tools to help you change your tire. So think about it. Who would you rather help? The person who sends you a cold LinkedIn message saying, "Hi, I see you work at company X, you know, literally, can you get me a job there?" Or would you prefer the person who says, "Hi, I've been following your work on the Project Y model, and I was really impressed with how you did the Z model approach, and recently read the article about the new technology you're putting into that Cybertruck, and it's going to seem highly relevant to your work, and I thought that you might find it interesting. Here's a link to what I was looking into. Keep up the great work." You know what I'm saying? You just passed along some information that might help them out. The second person isn't asking for anything. They're not selling anything. They are giving. They're showing they're engaged in you and that they want to be helpful to you. And that person is going to be more memorable. The guy that I helped with the tire situation is going to remember me more than a person that I called and asked for help from. And that person is going to be building a great reputation when you're always being perceived as helpful in your society. If you do this with your neighbors, all of your neighbors are going to love you and all of your neighbors are going to value you, because whenever they see you, they know that you're helping somebody. They know that if you're not helping them, that you're helping somebody else. When a job does open up on the other person's team, who do you think they're going to remember? The one who asked for a job or the one who provided value? Think about that for a minute. Michael says, learn to think outside of the box. Many people can see the door, will check it, find that it is locked, and go home. Many ways to open the door or go around. You're right. Locks keep honest people honest, but when locks to opportunities are put in place, that's not to keep you out. That's just to only let the right people in. So, I mean, if you see the lock and you can't get through, or you see the lock and don't put any effort in trying to get through, I mean, you're shorting yourself. A lot of people wait for the door to be open for them. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you wait for an opportunity to present itself, you will miss every opportunity in your area. Finding an opportunity is like trying to find a rabbit in a forest. They're out there, but your ass got to catch it. It is what it is. This mindset is going to be applied to every single interaction that you have. The goal is not to collect contacts. Notice I didn't exchange numbers with this individual. It is to build real relationships built on mutual respect and shared values. And this means that you listen more than you talk. You're not bragging about yourself. You're asking, what can I do to help? Or you're listening to what they're got going on so that if they have a pain point that needs assistance, you can offer some assistance. You ask good questions, you find small ways to help others succeed. And maybe it's introducing two people who should know each other. Maybe it's sharing a helpful resource. Maybe it's offering a specific skill that you already have. This is the long game. Building a killer network isn't a one going. See, now just as sure as I get ready to connect with the cell phone, this shit starts. Hold up. Oh Lord. All right, so let me mute that because I'm in there now. So it ain't gonna try me again. Damn it. Oh, they so hardly working on these dear towers. All right, so Y'all didn't miss nothing. As soon as I seen the screen start doing something funny, I was like, hold on a second. Let me go ahead and get this right. Have my backup plan set up. I should have started the back. This is one of the reasons why I started 45 minutes late today. They working on the system. I'm going to have to, I don't know. We're going to figure something out. We're going to figure something out. Now, check this out. I was saying before it messed up is that building killer networks isn't going to be a 1-week sprint to finding a job. It's going to be a career-long practice of cultivating relationships. Okay. The research is going to back this up. Studies have found people over their careers show that this kind of activity of networking doesn't just help you find a job, it also boosts your current salary and your salary growth over time and your overall career satisfaction, because you'll find yourself navigating your way into promotions. Because if you become friends with the boss when the boss has an opening, and you're not looking for your boss, you're trying to get friends with your boss's boss. That way, if a position opens at your boss's level, you can get promoted. If you are your boss's friend and your boss's buddy, then when your boss's boss is looking for an employee, you got it. But if your friend is looking for an employee, you also got it. However, here goes the kicker. If your boss's boss is looking for a referable person, if your boss is a buddy of yours, they'll refer you to your boss's boss, and then you get promoted to your boss's level. That's what we call a boss move. It is an investment that pays compound interest. Just being real with you. So, as we go through the tactics in tonight's show, filtering every action through this lens. How am I providing value first? If you can master this one shift, then you won't get rid of the it factor. You'll become a magnet for the kinds of opportunities that are totally invisible to everyone else. So let's get into the good stuff. Now that we have the right mindset, let's talk about the specific unorthodox strategies that will actually move the needle. And this is not your generic update your LinkedIn profile advice. These are going to be powerful moves that separate the top 1% from everyone else. First thing you want to do is build referral nodes, not random contacts. Many people have a spray and pay approach to networking. Add hundreds of random people on LinkedIn. This is a waste of time, because the goal isn't quantity in that situation. It is going to be leverage. You need to focus on identifying and building relationships with what I call referral nodes. A referral node is a person who is a center of influence in your industry or a target company. They are the contractors, they are connectors, they are the organizers, the team leaders. So let me say that again as I stumble through that. The contacts that are connectors, they're organizers and team leaders, the people who are trusted by many. You're looking for the person in the center of the atom, not the electrons swirling around. You understand? They aren't necessarily the CEO all the time. Often they're managers or senior employees who have been around for a while and have been deep social capital. One strong relationship with a referral node is worth more than 500 random connections, because they can give you access to their entire network with a single warm introduction. How do you find them? Look for people who organize meetings, individuals who speak at conferences, or run industry newsletters. On LinkedIn, you're looking for managers and directors at your target companies who are actually active, posting, commitment, commenting, engaging, the individuals that are really utilizing their ability to communicate with others to their advantage. Now, how do you approach it? With the value giver mindset. Don't message them and ask them to pick their brain. It's a lazy take first question. Instead, find a way to help them. For example, if they run meetups, I see you organize the whatever your city is topic meetup. Then tell them, I'm ready. I'm really passionate about this and I would love to help out. Do you need a volunteer to help with check-ins or finding speakers? If they write a newsletter, I'm a huge fan of your newsletter. I found this deep dive report on whatever the topic is that your readers might love. Thought I'd pass it along for future issues. If they're a manager, engage with their posts. I hold on, let's see. You want to engage with their posts thoughtfully for a few weeks. Share some content. Then send a message like, I've really been enjoying your insight on whatever the topic is about, right? Your post about whatever the specific post was actually inspired me to build a small project. Here's a link if you're curious. Thanks for sharing your expertise. So they've been recognizing that you've been interacting on their posts, and now you're helping them by providing them with content, right? You've become part of their world by being genuinely useful. Remember the math: referrals drive up to 37% of hires from just 6% of applicants. Well, focusing on these nodes is your most directive path to becoming part of that 6%. The classic networking coffee chat, usually a dead end. You have a nice conversation, and then you both forget about each other a week later. A much better approach is to propose a small, defined collaboration. This is going to be what I call micro projects. A micro project is a small, tangible piece of work that you do with someone you want to build a relationship with. Instead of just talking about your skills, you're showing them what you can do. And this builds trust way faster than any conversation. Co-host in 30-minute webinars on an industry trend. Co-host or co-write a short blog post on a topic that you're both into. Organize a small virtual roundtable with 3 or 4 other pro individuals to discuss a specific problem. The key is to make it an easy yes for them. Frame it as a low commitment experiment. You could message a peer at a company you admire and say, hey, whatever their name is, I've been following your work on whatever that project is, and I was thinking of putting together a quick 2 to 5 page guide on 5 ways to use new tech in our field. Would you be interested in co-authorizing? I think our combined perspectives would be really valuable, right? This does 2 things. First, it gives you a real reason to work together for a few days or a few weeks. Second, it creates a real asset that you can both use to showcase your expertise. That micro project becomes part of your portfolio and a referral engine, right? Informational interviews are an amazing tool, but most people mess them up. They make it a one-sided interrogation to get information. The power move is to flip the script and offer value to the person that you're interviewing. Instead of saying, can I ask you about your career, which frames it as a chance for them to give visibility. Try this, hi, whatever your name is. I'm working on a personal project where I'm interviewing 10 leaders in your field. And for a blog series, that's called Lessons from the Front Lines of whatever your field is. Your career would be an incredible addition. Would you be open to a 20-minute chat where I can feature your perspective? I actually seen one of these in an email once, completely ignored it, but I've been thinking about it while I'm talking to you about it. But it does completely change the dynamic. You're not just a student asking for help, you're a creator offering them a platform. That's much more appealing of an offer. It actually gives you a little bit of a boost of, especially if you're publishing it genuinely. You're getting their information, you're utilizing what they're saying, you're publishing it, you're publishing an image of them and doing an article on that person's information for your work, which aids them in getting a lot more traction in society, but it aids you in being affiliated with those individuals. Well, you can join junior achievements in high school when you're in high school, but when you're 40 years old, joining junior achievement doesn't really help you. 40 years ago probably would have been a good idea, but 35, 40 years old, I mean, you can't really jump into that. Now, during the interview, you want to be incredibly prepared. Bring a pen, napkin, bring stuff that you're actually going to end up having to use while you're out there. Research the person before you meet them. Ask more questions that shows that you've done your homework. And here's the most critical part. At the end of every single interview, you must ask this magic question. Based on our conversation, who are 2 or 3 other people that you think I should talk to? Which gives you a warm call to someone else. This question is going to be the key that unlocks the hidden job market. Because when they give you a name, you're going to follow up with it. And that's going to be a fantastic suggestion. Would you be comfortable with making a brief email introduction? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. Now you're no longer a cold email. You are a warm referral arriving with the social proof of a trusted colleague. You can chain these introductions together, mapping out entire organizations without ever feeling like you're asking for a job. Is it 40 years old? Thought this was for beginners. No, this is for everyone. Is it 40-year-old living at home? No, this is for everyone. So today's topic is supposed to be how you can build a network, if you didn't already do it, that will allow you to have a better way to get your foot in the door for better opportunities. So these are some different and unorthodox ways to utilize and build a network, because I've told you guys how to use alumni in college in order to get into the jobs. Now I'm telling you how to position yourself in a way where you can communicate with individuals that will refer you to other individuals that will allow you to have a better network. And you want to maintain these relationships by communicating with these people at least once a month, once or twice a month, so that they remember who you are, right? This isn't about while we are talking about a lot of changes from the beginning aspects of things, because this is going to be the first time you're going to change your mindset from being one way to being somewhere else. Not everybody is starting the first time at 12 years old. A lot of times people are just now starting to get their shit together at 35 and 40 years old. And today's advice is more to the magnitude of helping individuals with getting their shit together now at middle age. It's not always mind over matter. It's more to the magnitude of performance, and specifically where you perform. Because while you can have a strong mindset over the matter of effort, you still could have a weak performance and not accomplish anything. So I'm over here fine-tuning where you perform and how you perform. And then if you have the mindset to perform, nothing else matters. The biggest opportunity often lies at the intersection of different fields. So most people network in their own field, silos, and marketers talk to marketers. So engineers are going to talk to engineers. A true powerful network builds bridges between disconnected worlds. So think about who's more valuable: the thousands of persons who know about AI, or the one person who can connect AI to a sustainable agriculture. By positioning yourself as a bridge, you get access to unique information that people inside their bubbles can't see. When I provide you guys with the information on the show, I'm connecting the dots from multiple different locations and bringing them all into one spot so that you can see where change can occur. He says if you don't get your shit together at 40. He said if you don't get your shit together at 30, that hill is a hill starts to get steeper. He ain't lying. It is so much harder to get your shit together at 40 and 50 years old. But if you start applying yourself, you can see those changes. So here's the question: how do you do this? Initially, joining groups and going to events outside of your main profession is going to be one way to get this done. If you're in tech, you want to go to real estate meetups. And if you're a lawyer, you want to join groups for online creators. Your goal is to learn the language and challenges of another world and then translate them to your own world. When lawyers go to parties, especially if you're an injury lawyer, you want to go somewhere where people get hurt. That's how you network. You're not doing it to get a job. You know, you're not out there to chase ambulances. You're out there to find how do people get hurt. You know, if you're, trying to find, if you're, say, uh, a broker for real estate, you got to know people who want to sell their property. You got to know people who want to buy. But you also got to know people who want to fix their house, even if they're not willing to sell it, because you also want to know contractors who could use some work. You find a fix and flipper who's willing to both buy and sell, who could also use a contractor and is really requiring to fix some stuff. Guess what you just did? You built a network. While it is exclusively in real estate, this is one way to build a network. Your goal is going to be to learn the languages and challenges of other individuals. So you become the hub that can connect people across the different domains. And this is going to create incredible reliance and resilience for your career. When one industry has a downturn, you have escaped hatches that can slide you into another industry. Everyone wants to network up with people more senior than them. And this is going to be a mistake. Your peers, and even those more junior than you are your future power network. Your peers are in your trenches with you. They have the most relevant real-time info about the market, salaries, and which teams have a great culture. They are going to be your allies and your future referral sources as you all rise through the ranks together, presumably if you have a good network already. He said people network all the time on the internet. Like here, we're networking. Well, in a way, that is true. We are communicating with one another here. When we're networking here, we're getting to know each other, we're building bonds with each other, and then we're referring information that we have to individuals that need it. So yeah, in a way, we are networking here. And individuals that are looking for insight do come here and ask a lot of questions. And a lot of us sage individuals are providing that information. And as long as we maintain those connections, we actually could potentially tap into those sources. If I was to pass, Michael or Steven on the street, there would be likelihood that if there was an opportunity for me in that location, they would likely recommend it because we know each other. So yeah, in a way, it's true. But not everybody on the internet is networking all the time, because people who are doom scrolling and watching TV on silence are really just lurking. They're not personally interacting with other individuals. Now, the people that come to this podcast are more networking because we're actually providing and receiving information with one another, growing, improving, and bettering ourselves. A little bit of a difference. He said, we got you back. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification, y'all. Woo. Networking goes both ways. It does. And see, so what can I benefit from you is going to be your thought and what can you benefit from me is going to be my thought. And then if I'm trying to benefit you and you're trying to benefit me, then we're benefiting each other. And that's the true conduit of a networked relationship. You are supposed to be a resource to your network, and your network is supposed to be a resource to you. If you can improve your network by 10%, then your network should be able to do the same for you. And I think that is a significant dynamic. He said, at walking by on the street, I would flip you the finger. And that's fantastic, because I would cut that finger off and sell it for a large profit. Networking down is going to be the long-term play most people ignore. The intern that you help today could be a hiring manager in 5 years. The junior employee you mentor might become a founder who wants to hire you as a leader in 10. Me teaching people how to become successful today might be individuals that invest in me in 5 or 10 years. So simply being helpful to all of the people that come to this channel, they might actually end up being funding sources to this channel down the line. Treating everyone with respect and generosity builds a reservoir of goodwill that pays off in powerful and unpredictable ways. Your LinkedIn profile shouldn't just be a static resume. It should be an active machine that generates opportunities while you sleep. This isn't about posting, I'm excited to announce, whatever. It's about consistently sharing what you know. Pick a niche. Pick one you're passionate about. Start sharing insight. You don't have to be the world's #1 expert in anything. Just sharing what you've learned is good enough, which is what I'm doing here on the podcast. Break things down. Take a complex topic and then break it down to a simple subject. Then when you start stretching yourself to lessons learned, you want to share a story about a project that went wrong and what you learned about it. Vulnerability is going to build some trust. You want to curate resources. When you share the best articles or tools that you found this week, become a valuable filter for the others. Things that work, things that don't work. A killer tactic is to run a help thread once a month. Post something you like. I'm an expert in whatever your skill is. If you're struggling with a problem in that area, post it in the comments and I'll do my best to help you for free. Now I'm going to tell you, get in my membership and tell me about it and I got you back. But you'll be amazed at the connections that come from this simple act of public generosity. So when a recruiter is quietly searching for someone with your type of skill, your active, helpful profile will stand out from thousands of dormant ones where people don't use their profiles. Finally, you need to bring some structure to all of this. The best networkers don't just wing it. They treat their relationships like a financial portfolio. They set goals, track their activities, and periodically rebalance. If you create a simple spreadsheet with a few tabs, contact list with the names, company role, last contacted date, and a next step column. Pipeline, track your informational interviews and the referrals. Your goals, set simple, weekly activity goals. For example, I have 3 new conversions. Give 1 introduction, 2 share values, something online. See what happens. This isn't about being a robot. It is about being intentional. A system ensures that you're consistent and help you remember to follow up. Quarterly reviews for your portfolios. Who haven't you spoken to in the last 6 months? Send them a quick, no ask message to check in. Are your connections in one industry? Maybe it's time to do some bridging network. A new network is like a garden. It needs consistent care. You can't just show up and harvest time and expect a bounty. If you harvest all the time, without ever planting any new seeds, there's not going to be any resources to collect. He said, happy Saturday. Make sure that you enjoy your weekend while we're here and mash those reaction buttons. We do have some common pitfalls here, and we're going to talk about how to avoid them. Even with the best intentions, it's easy to make a mistake. Here's going to be some of the most common pitfalls and how to avoid a few of them. First pitfall is going to be being transactional and asking for a job too early. This is a cardinal sin. Connecting with someone on LinkedIn and immediately saying, I see you work at Google, can you refer me? This is the fastest way to get ignored. You have to make deposits of value before you can ever think about making a withdrawal. One of the other things that I think about with this is that if you're building a network and you have a professional network, remember I told you before about setting up events and then inviting wealth. You can connect with a lot of these individuals, especially individuals inside of your commuting range. You may decide to set up an event where 250 individuals that are inside of 30 or 45-minute driving range are capable of commuting there. You can reserve a venue that's preferably cheap and put up a few refreshments, a little bit of entertainment, establish an activity or event, and then invite the individuals that you maintain connections with that are inside of the commuting range and see if they're available to perform this particular meet and greet. Individuals that show up now can come in and network with one another as well as networking with you. By doing so, you can actually start building a reputation of connecting the dots with all of these individuals, which also makes you more useful and identifiable as a node. Becoming the antidote. If you follow the 90-10 rule, 90% of your interactions should be about giving value to someone else, sharing insight, making intros for other individuals, and offering help. Only 10% of the time, when the relationship is warm or closer to hot, should you make an ask for yourself. Pitfall number 2 is the fire and forget. Following up is going to be very important. You have a great conversation. You feel energized, and then nothing happens. A week goes by, and then a month, then the connection goes cold. One of the biggest mistakes people make, and almost everyone does it, is failing to follow up. The antidote you need to have is strict 24-hour follow-up rule. After a meeting, send a personalized thank you note within 24 hours. In it, you want to mention something specific that you talked about, and if you can include a relevant link or a resource. This is going to be one habit alone that will put you miles ahead of most people. Now, pitfall number 3 is going to be having a ghost town online presence. You reach out to someone, and the first thing that they do is look you up. If they find a LinkedIn profile with no picture, a vague headline, no activity, it screams that you're not a serious professional. Individuals that look me up find me. Well, that's not true. If you look up this podcast, you find me. You look me up anywhere else, I don't exist. He said, a garden needs to be weeded. Yeah, dude. And sometimes you got to put some Roundup on it. He said, the biggest failure is never starting the journey. That's true too. That's true too. But it's also not taking the second step after you took the first. So even if you get the journey started, but you don't follow through, you find yourself still one step further than what you used to be, but no further than that. You look back and you're still really close to where you started. So putting yourself in a position where you must continue to move forward is the motivation that I'm trying to give you here, is that once you establish those connections with those individuals, nurture them, marinate them, right? Because in order for you to have a really juicy steak, you have to marinate it, you have to curate it, you have to watch it, you have to revisit it, and then when it's time to fire that bad boy up, it is ready for you. How many folks that marinated a steak just put it aside and forgot about it? Most folks mess with the bag, sift it around a little bit, keep looking at it, think, yeah, I'll fuck this one up one day. And then when you get ready to fire up the grill, you're going back to that steak, right? And the steak is ready for you. People don't remember failures. Well, people may not remember a lot of failures, especially if you didn't negatively impact them in failing, but people also do not remember anyone who did not benefit them. So it's not so much the fact that if you're a failure, you're going to be forgotten. What the more important aspect is that if I didn't benefit from you, you're not going to remember me. The story I told you about the guy that I helped with his tire, I gave him my name. I don't remember what his name was, because why? He didn't benefit me. He didn't do anything to benefit me. He returned my property, but that's about it. He's going to remember me because I'm the guy that helped him out when he was screwed. I benefited him, so he should remember me for a reasonable period of time. A few days, couple weeks, maybe a month, right? He's not going to remember me forever. If I don't follow up, he's not going to continue to remember me. Eventually, he's going to forget me, but he will remember me longer since he benefited from me than what he would if I never impacted him, right? Are you looking good, Star Knight? So not having a good profile, this is going to create a credibility gap before you even talk to somebody. And in the digital world, you must make sure that your online presence is your digital handshake. It needs to be professional. Have a clear headshot. Write a headline that says who you are and what you do. Software engineer building scalable fintech platforms, right, is better than software engineer. Way better. Share an article every once in a while to show you're engaged in your field. How you doing, IP? He said hello, happy Saturday. LeBron James is garbage. Happy Saturday. He gonna put every time I see LeBron James, I'm gonna think Kobe Bryant, Stephen Curry, all the people that are better than him. Shaquille O'Neal, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, just kind of gonna say that LeBron James is garbage. He's not just garbage; he's flaming garbage that is overrated. Just want to throw that out there. You know, he's the oldest trash in the bin. Another pitfall that people usually experience: only reaching out when you need something. This is the networking equivalent of only calling your friends when you need help for moving. Makes people feel used. A network you only tap into when you're desperate isn't a network. It's a list of contacts who will probably ignore you. So you want to dig your well before you're thirsty. Maintain light touch points with your network, even when you're happy at your job. A simple, hey, saw this article and thought of you, or a comment on their post is enough to keep the connections warm. Now, you don't need a lot of people. You know, if you've got 15 or 20 people, 30 people, let's say 30, right? 28, that's a good number. If you had 28, you would likely contact one person, one different person every day, once a month. Not that hard. So think about this: being a social butterfly with no substance. Some people are great at talking. And they can go to an event and chat with 20 people, but nothing comes of it. They focus on the performance of networking, not the substance of the connections. And that's what we're talking about here is the substance of the connection. A lot of people don't listen and they don't try to understand the other person's goals. So you want to focus on depth over breadth. Your goal at an event isn't to meet everyone. It is to have 2 or 3 meaningful conversations, ask good questions, listen, find one way that you can help each person that you connect with. One genuine connection is worth 100 flimsy business cards, no matter how awesome the digital world is making business cards these days. So that's going to be your playbook. It's not a lot of stuff to do. I mean, we've covered the old ways that is broken, the mindset shift from taking to giving, and 7 concrete strategies to build a network that unlocks the hidden job market and drives your income up. The core message is to have a choice. You can keep being a passive player in your career, fighting for scraps and letting the algorithm decide your fate for you, or you can become the architect of your own future and you can build relationships, provide value, and position yourself for the huge number of opportunities that are happening behind the scenes. Listening is key. Keep your conversation simple and pleasant. True to life, your discussion should be more about you finding out what you can find out from other people. You need to be more of a detective. You're not trying to interrogate the other person, but you want to compliment and inquire. That's what you want to do with your conversations. Because again, your conversations is not about talking about yourself to other people. While yes, you can, when they ask, you can provide insight and information about you. You want to start off with who you are and how they can reach you again. That way they can eventually get in contact with you. Or at least if you don't start off with that, you want to leave with that at the very least. So before you guys part ways, you have to make sure that they can reach out to you again and they at least have an idea of who you are. Before that, you must dig deeper into what you can do for them and how you can benefit them. If you get their contact information and then the next time you reach out to them, you're providing them with a solution to their problem, they're going to be compelled to reach out to you to thank you for helping them with their problem. So you find 3 or 4 people in any one event and you find 3 people that you can aid. Then you aid them. If you have, like I said before, 20 people in your network, that is your inner circle of individuals that you will tap into whenever, whatever, you want to make sure that those 20 people you can try to do something for. You're not trying to overwork yourself. You're not trying to overwhelm your plate. But if you had 20 people that you could do something for, that's 1 person per day, 20 days out of the month, with a week off of not talking to people, you can whittle that down to 10 or 15, where every other day. However you decide to do it and however big your circle is going to be, you want to make sure that you're not overworking yourself, but you want to make sure that you keep connections to these individuals. You don't have to help them every month, but you should connect with them every month, right? We know all about ourselves, but we don't know the other person. That is so true. So you have to listen. Then Michael got some wise words, y'all. This is sage advice from 72 plus. And this is not going to be an overnight fix for you. It is a fundamental change in how you approach your professional life. But it's a change that is compounding. The work that you do today, the helpful insight you share, the introductions that you make for someone else, is an investment that will pay you back for years to come with higher salaries, better opportunities, and a career that you actually control. The power to do this is entirely in your hands. You don't need permission to start. Your journey begins with a single action. So here's my challenge to you. Your first steps right now. That's where you're going to start. Today, tonight, as soon as you wake up. Not Sunday afternoon or next week Saturday. You want to get into it right now. I want you guys to pick just one strategy that we talked about. Maybe it's identifying one referral node and finding a way to provide value. Maybe it's drafting a request for one informational interview with a value twist. Just one. And just start going into it. He said, can someone change God's depends? No. No. Because it is not, it doesn't benefit God for you to change his depends. If he's that old, then, you know, he needs to wear it. At the end of the day, you know, your ability to benefit the individuals on your level and below your level is going to aid you as long as you're curating the field with people that have potential to be greatness. You want to plant the seed in the startups so that when the startups become the greats, you know the greats. Rookie athletes with talent, you want to know them before they become famous, and then you want to maintain connections with them so that when they are famous, they don't forget you. You want to communicate with the people who have ambition that are in the intern phase so that when they become the CEOs, they're connecting with you. You want to be involved with the individuals that are in the intro level positions so that when they become the CEOs of tomorrow, that tomorrow you have a large connection. That's right, rookie cards. You want to have their rookie card when it is brand new so that when they become a legend, that rookie card is way more valuable. So if you guys found this valuable, matter of fact, I got an idea for you. We're going to try to find a way to get you guys 5 outreach skips that we're going to put into the membership about including the exact words for approaching a referral node and requesting a value-driven interview and proposing a micro project. We're going to throw that stuff into the membership coming soon. So if you guys found this valuable, I want you guys to make sure that you guys take that opportunity to hit that like and subscribe button, and don't miss out on tomorrow's video, because tomorrow is going to be Bad Girls Club as the world turns comments. Y'all already know we do questions and comments for the fans on Sunday. But next Saturday, we're going to be going even deeper on mastering this information. You guys have to stop applying for things and start connecting with things, because your future self is going to thank you about that. So while I understand tonight was pretty short as well, we've covered a lot of dynamics. Your value is based off of starting ways to make change, and then we got to get into the advanced ways to utilize that change to explode your performance into a better future as things continue to fluctuate for you. He said, yes, tomorrow's the horror Sundays. I've seen some over the past couple of days that made my skin curl. I was like, what? So we're gonna be putting some stuff in there. And actually, I might actually navigate some of my evening to make sure that I got a lot of that stuff ready, rocking, ready to go, so that we don't have to worry about the internet fluctuations that we're dealing with right now. So what I'm going to say is, first and foremost, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And then fellas, I give y'all this information to help y'all become higher value men, because you too will benefit from this information by finding the things in your life that you do not like, that you have the controls to change, and then go ahead and change that. And then you'll be able to navigate around the things that you cannot control. Ladies, while this is a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective, I'll see you tomorrow, Michael. Ladies, y'all can make yourselves higher value women by finding your 20-year plan and proactively putting forward effort to change that. It really takes reverse engineering. You're in position and finding a place to start, and then proactively working your way to it, and then finding individuals that can mesh with your ability to reach your goals, and y'all reach your goals together. 2 people can get there faster than 1. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.